All right, Battletech enthusiasts, this vlog is aimed at the new mech warriors, the new mech commanders. It's going to be a little bit interactive in the comments. We're going to literally look to build a list. Now, there are so many mechs to acquire, and these mechs have all various roles, various specifications across light, medium, heavy, and assault. In my opinion, and we're going to build this out in the comments, there are certain mechs that I call auto-include, meaning if I don't know the mission, I don't know the hex map I'm going to play on, I don't know what my opponent is going to bring in terms of mechs, what I'm going to face, these are the mechs that if you build a lance with them or they're included in a lance, they're going to hold their own. They're going to excel. They're just solid machines all the way around. And that's not to dismiss other mechs from the various tech manuals, but some are nuanced, some require heat management, some are set to a very, very specific role, maybe like the Vulcan or the Fire Starter. And absolutely, you're going to add them to your collection, but looking to build a base of auto-include mechs. And they're fun to play. They're solid mechs. Being new to the game, it's really going to help give you a solid foundation as you build out and as you learn your player personality. So let's jump in with a few, in my opinion, agree or disagree, and then in the comments, my fellow mech warriors and mech commanders who have been playing for a while, what mechs should we be looking at? What mechs should I be looking at? Let's jump in with the Jenner. You play this machine and you're like, is this a light mech? It has numerous medium lasers, short-range missile pack, good speed, the ability to outflank, the ability to work as a lance and get rear armor and push the heat and blast away with medium lasers and short-range missiles, the ability to hunt down, drive off, engage other light mechs, the ability to work as a lance and kind of hang back a little bit. And then as the lance engages to lance, based on damage to an opposing mech, if there's internals or a place, a facing you want to exploit, that Jenner has the speed to get into position and just blast away. A fantastic, fantastic light mech that has the speed to skirmish, to scout, to engage. Very, very potent. I consider that an auto-include. Jumping into mediums, the Wolverine. Solid armor, solid weapons loadout. When you need something that is just going to pop in and be a part of another lance, again, not knowing the mission, the map, what you're going up against, the Wolverine can hold its own. It has some long-range capability, but it's primarily a long, medium, and close fighter. I want to complement that with the Griffin. The Griffin, solid armor, good mobility, PPC, long-range missile 10-pack. It has the ability to push out solid at a long range, to be part of a lance, but also to redeploy and move as needed in a medium chassis. Jumping into some heavier machines, and I've gone into greater detail on these mechs, pushing up to the playlist here on my channel, the Battletech playlist. You can see the individual mech reviews, but this is building that miniature checklist as you're sitting there and looking for lance packs or checking out kind of the salvage boxes and things like that, or you're looking at the classic Iron Wind medals, or maybe even some 3D printed mechs. This is the list. To begin with, it's a miniatures game. We're going to get to all of them. Looking at the Catapult. Catapult's a fantastic mech. You've got multiple redundant weapons. Redundancy in Battletech is where you have more than one of the same weapon. And this is important because there's a lot of modifiers going on. I'm moving, you're moving. We've got range. I start with a base number. How much did you move? What's the range? How much did I move? Suddenly that chance to hit goes up. Having multiple redundant weapons of the same class increases your odds of hitting at the medium to higher modifiers. If I can catch you and soak you with those lower modifiers, hitting with multiple weapons and pushing the heat is just going to be brutal. So here's a mech that has both lasers and long-range missiles, redundancy. It has the long-range missiles with the redundancy to soak not only at long range, but also work as indirect fire. Now, it's not a dedicated indirect fire machine, but it's solid. And if things get close enough, you're just going to light them up with the lasers. Really a fantastic, fantastic mech. Let's look at the Grasshopper. Grasshopper jumping in. Now, it's not a pure energy mech. It does have that 5-pack, that LRM 5-pack in the head. It's got a little something to do, but primarily it is a laser boat, and it has the heat sinks to maintain a very steady, focused rate of fire. Once the grasshopper gets into position, gets into range, it's just going to consistently turn after turn, round after round, light things up. Very, very powerful, very, very potent mech, a solid mech. And then, of course, jumping to the higher end spectrum, I love playing assault mechs. I love heavies. I love mediums. I love lights. I love tanks. I love all mechs. But assault mechs are where the action is. Looking at the awesome. And the awesome mech, of course, comes in the Game of Armored Combat starter set. But even if you're not jumping in with that, acquiring it, tons and tons of armor backed by a full energy-based mech. That right there means you've got to put this machine down. You are not going to get a lucky ammo hit. It's got 3 PPCs, multiple redundancy, pushing out at that long range. If something does manage to close or wants to get really, really close, sure, you've got the small laser, but you've got movement and tonnage to literally punch and kick that opposing mech into scrap. You've got the lasers, the PPCs, left torso, right torso, and in the arm. You blow that arm off, you've got those in the torso. It's going to be putting out firepower for quite some time. So this is the start of that auto-include list. And I'm not necessarily saying go out and acquire these immediately, but if you're looking for solid mechs to learn the game that are always going to have a place in your collection, be kind of a really good anchor as you branch out into other mechs or experiment with other things, these are the mechs to start with. I'm going to turn it over to my fellow Battletech enthusiasts here in the comments. What mechs do you consider, from the perspective of a new player, building up their collection? And look, we are going to get to all of them. What mechs do you consider just solid machines, independent of mission, map, lance, and opposing lance?